So your results have shown that your predominant single archetype is clever clueless. So let's have a talk about that. So I'm Jay Diamond. If you've maybe never come across me before, I'm a dating and love coach. I help incredible women like you, successful women, become successful in love by clearing energetic love blocks and combining mindset and strategy together to really ignite your feminine power and triple your confidence so that you can naturally attract and keep your soulmate. So with the quiz, you might kind of be between two archetypes, and usually there's kind of one that just pips the post. Sometimes that one is a clear leader. With the clever clueless, this is actually one of the most predominant archetypes that women have. And I'm going to read, so you'll see me looking to the left a little bit because I just want to make sure I don't miss anything and I don't get off track. Because I want to share with you some really important information and give you some really good advice that you can use to move forward to really help you attract that high quality partner. So the thing about clever clueless is, although she might attract partners, there's kind of two ways. She either attracts partners but she doesn't really understand what's going wrong, or she finds herself single for long periods of time. She often doesn't have a healthy blueprint of relationships. Now, women who come into my world may think that, say, I've had a nice home life, but when it actually comes to the dynamic of the relationship that her parents had, it's not a dynamic that she wants to replicate. So this is what I mean here. So that blueprint for relationship, she might not have. Sometimes the relationship with at least one parent has been problematic with clever clueless. She's often single for long periods of time, and she doesn't tend to get a lot of attention from men, and she tends to get friend zoned instead. The thing about clever clueless is that she tends to feel looked over. It's like, she'll be out with a group of friends, people will naturally gravitate perhaps towards her friends first. She'll feel a bit left out. She'll feel looked over. She's a woman who is generally quite clever. She really likes to learn. And so you've probably already read quite a lot with regard to relationships. You might have already read books. You might have already done the YouTube videos and all the free things you can get your hands on. And you're wondering why. Why is your kind of intellect not working in the same way where it comes to relationships? There might be, with clever clueless, some family, religious or cultural beliefs that get in the way with regards you attracting the kind of partner that you really desire, and some kind of subconscious programming that's going on with regards to all of that. Clever clueless can get a bit anxious, and she can freeze or feel silly in terms of when she's interacting with men. And because she doesn't quite know what to do in a certain situation, she might go along with things that she's not entirely happy with. Particularly in the company of men that you like, you might find you're not quite yourself. You don't say the things you really want to say. Or you say things that just sort of fall out of your mouth and you're like, why did I even say that? And it's because of the nervousness. It's because there's a place where you're not feeling fully confident with regards relationship and dating. So one of the big things about clever clueless is that she tends to connect with dates and with potential partners, let's say, or somebody that you fancy, that you're interested in. You tend to connect with them more from the head than the heart. And this is what actually causes them to see you as a friend rather than a lover. So because the emotional space isn't open and you don't really know how to do that with a potential date or partner, even though you do it really well with friends, something changes when you're in the presence of someone that you fancy. And so because you come across in this more platonic way and it's safer and feels easier to connect from a place of intellect and not emotion, you're probably not showing your sensual side either, then that's how you get pigeonholed as a really lovely, wonderful friend. right? That's how you end up getting friend zoned and not a potential lover. And so because you fear rejection, or you fear losing that person, you fear putting them off, what actually happens is you're afraid to say what you really think and what you really feel. And so this can mean that you don't show up in your true self, you don't show up in your true emotional self, so it feels like you can't be fully reached, if that makes sense. And it's the emotional connection that calls in a masculine energy man or a more masculine energy person to connect. And the same, like if you were to be with a feminine energy person, it's the emotional connection that really allows you to go deeper into a sense of commitment. So when you feel worried that you might do the wrong thing, you might say the wrong thing, what happens is you might say and do the things that you think you should or that they want to hear because you want to connect, but it ends up backfiring because it can be felt that it's not quite authentic. Somebody might not be able to put their finger on it, but when you're anxious and in your head, rather than actually being able to communicate from a really great place, you might say all the right words, but something about the energy is off and it creates a distance between you and other people. A clever clueless can be a bit shy with men, but is really wonderful with friends and family. So you've got great friends who love you, you have lots of fun with them, and people probably can't understand why you're not having the same experience with men. You probably had some of the same friends for years and years and years. So here's some ideas. So Clever Clueless really needs to learn and understand about male dating psychology. So if you are a person who dates men and you want to attract a masculine energy man, someone who's more of a provider and more of a protector, you need to understand the world of men better so that you can relate to them better, because you're probably relating in a way that you relate to your friends, and that's why you keep getting friend zoned, right? Resolving some of your past issues so you can have a healthier outlook on relationships is really important. And so this is where this kind of friend zone thing can come from sometimes. It's that maybe you've had a really difficult relationship in the past, and you don't want to replicate that. And so your behaviors are actually trying to move you away from what's happened before, rather than meeting the person fully who's in front of you and connecting from that place. One of the things for Clever Clueless to work on is to be more open with potential dates and with people that you fancy, and being more open and speaking out where you usually shut down. So this can be a bit clumsy at first, but it's about learning emotional intelligence, relationship education, communication skills, communicating in a way where it's connective rather than just shutting down or just blurting things out and like flip-flopping between the two. Okay, so the other thing with Clever Clueless is to stop waiting to be seen, hoping that someone's going to see you and recognize you and how great you are, and start breaking your own pattern by practicing talking to new people. And I understand that this can feel excruciating for some of us, but it's a way to really break that pattern that you've been stuck in, and just without trying to impress anybody, but just seek to just connect with people from a connective place, striking up conversations with like really nice people or people who feel attractive with no expectation, just to have fun, just to like connect, and not get caught too soon. And I know I've done this because I am a person who loves to connect about all the deep and wonderful things in the universe. I love that, and I'm quite a sapiosexual, and I want to connect deeply. Like, it turns me on, that. And when you don't know someone that well, going straight for the very deep and meaningful conversation can feel a bit much. It's like going straight into sex with no foreplay. Think of it that way. And let people see your playful side as well. Let people see the part of you that is fun, that is light, that is joyful, rather than just coming in with a big, deep and meaningful conversation because, well, whatever you make that mean, right? So that's the clever Clueless. Now, the first thing I would really advise, the next step that I would really advise for you is to go for the 5 love magnets class, because this is going to teach you about male psychology. It's going to teach you about some of the um, you know, commitment psychology, specifically with masculine energy people. It's also going to teach you about that kind of rubber banding effects, like when people pull away and this sort of thing. And I think this is going to be a really good basis before you get into maybe like, you know, the bigger courses and the like communication side of stuff. Take those 5 love magnets. It's going to open your eyes so much, honestly. So I hope that was helpful for you, and I'll see you soon.